Hello everybody, this is Hollywood Man Connolly in the double biceps, in the contract, has to be done, every video. I didn't write the rules, it's just the way it has to be done. Just wanted to give a recap of this year and what we got up to with the SA Titans Club. We did some amazing things. Huge year, we've got an even bigger year coming up, but I just wanted to give a quick recap of some of the things that we got up to in the Titans Club. So the very first thing was actually naming the SA Titans Club. I'm very happy with the name. I think it worked out really well. We also came up with some concepts of artwork, which the t-shirts we've got here. We got our major sponsor, which is Real Estate Agents Group. Dave Stockbridge has been an enormous part of the growth of the SA Titans Club. He has facilitated our ability to get into many of the events that we got into this year. So we're very appreciative to Dave Stockbridge and Real Estate Agents Group for their support and their ongoing support throughout our history as a club. So I just wanted to highlight, so we did the shirts, we got some bumper stickers made, we got stickers, we got all sorts of sort of merchandise products to sort of help brand the club and get something where people felt like they were part of something. We created the Facebook page, so we've got, I think we're almost up to 600 people that are following the SA Titans Facebook page, and I created the Hollywood Matt Connolly page, which I just looked up the stats this morning. So at the moment, over the last year, we've had 150,000 video views, which is 80,000 minutes of footage, of our footage, super matches and all the events that we did, all those hours that have gone up on that page. 80,000 minutes worth of people watching it. Probably 70,000 of that is me watching it, but we did get a lot of people that are interested in what we're doing. And I think we have a lot of people around the world that are getting into arm wrestling, and they are discovering our content before anybody else's. It's definitely one of the tools that we've been able to find growth with. And one of the coolest things is when people have come to the club and they recognize us from our videos, they know our nicknames. It's just, it's so surreal to me when people turn up and they know who I am and who you guys are. It's just a fantastic element to what we're doing. Shows that it's working. I've just got the notes written here because I couldn't remember everything that we did off the top of my head, so I wrote it down here. So we got the media banner. We've got, as I said before, the Real Estate Agents Group as a major sponsor. We've created the website, which is www.titansarmwrestling.com, and you can find all of our profiles on there. I've written up a profile for every member of the club. Hamza, yours is coming. I'm working on it at the moment, but everyone there has a little blurb about their history and their style, their weight class, what they do as an arm wrestler. So that is on there. Some of the events are listed on there as well. So we came up with these super match Sundays, and I think we went almost every single Sunday having a super match, which was just incredible. If you've seen the spreadsheet that I've done up, which listed all the matches, there's over 40 matches there. So if you think how many weekends there were throughout the year, 52, and we had over 40 of those weekends covered in terms of having a super match. No other club in the world had that many super matches, so well done to everybody there. I think Leon was featured in half of those. But everyone has done a fantastic job, and the creating of the rankings and the opinion-based rankings, it really did create an atmosphere of competition. I was a little bit hesitant to create the ranking system because I didn't want people to feel like that they would be under pressure or mitigated if they were ranked lower than somebody else. But it actually was the opposite, where people looked at the people that were ahead of them in the rankings and decided that they would use that as fuel to challenge other people or to work harder or to improve their own system. So it went really well, and I think that that's a big key to our super matches and the growth of the actual club. So we got our podcast happening with the Daily Combat podcast, and we managed to get a bunch of guys from the club have been on the podcast. We're going to continue that. Hopefully that will be a feature when we have a super match coming up. We can get a couple of you guys in who are involved in the super match into the podcast studio. We'll feature an interview and then maybe a recap as well. So that's been a huge tool, and we're hoping to grow that throughout the rest of 2022. We got 2 professional promo videos created. One was through Dave Stockbridge's contact, and that came out really well. That was the one where we all walked into the club at the very start of the video. It really highlighted a lot of the welcoming atmosphere of the SA Titans, which we were trying to promote. And the second video was with Mark Boxer, who came along and hopefully he'll come again. He has a very similar style to Roman, which is probably because they both have a very Labour type background. But Mark Boxer created another video for us, and that came out fantastically as well. Used those to promote the club and get more people interested in coming along. So the events that we had the Apex tournament, as everyone will remember, in February. A lot of the top arm wrestlers from around the country actually came along to that, which was a surprise for me because originally we were going to run that as just a local inner club tournament. And then Dave, with his contacts, brought us into the Apex tournament, or the Apex event, which was a 20-sport combat sports event, and arm wrestling was part of it. We had a big tournament. It ran fantastically well. Ryan Bowen came along, Mario Tembakis, a lot of the top level arm wrestlers in the country came along, and they enjoyed themselves. We got a lot of positive feedback from that, and they are looking forward to coming back for the next Apex event. At the moment, it is scheduled for March, so we are looking to get that happening. Hopefully a tournament, maybe some big super matches between some of the top ranked guys in the country featured in that as well. Derrimut Gym, we had the first birthday down there, so I put on the demonstration, put up the video, and thank you to Richard and Tina for coming along and supporting that. We I think I arm wrestled for 4 hours non-stop against everyone and anyone that was in the gym that wanted to come along and have a go, and we had a really good time. It was nice to sort of showcase arm wrestling to everyone. That, I mean, I knew a lot of the people that were in the gym, and it was nice to sort of, the thing I keep telling them about, to actually have it right there and they could have a go. So went really well. Again, thank you to Richard and Tina for coming along and supporting that event. Charity golf event. So this one was just me and Dave. Went along to one of his business groups charity golf event, and we spent a few hours arm wrestling those people that are involved in that group, which is a multi-cultured group of people from all areas. That so we had men and women and older people and younger people that were all they didn't know that arm wrestling was going to be there, but they were quite happy to give it a go, which is always seems to be the case, that the women are very keen to have a go and the men are very hesitant. But once they sort of see what we're doing in terms of explaining technique, and we're not there just to smash everybody, then they're quite happy to come up and have a go, and then they learn how the arm wrestling works. And we've got the business cards, and hopefully even if they don't actually come and do arm wrestling themselves, they might tell their friends that they had a good time, that this club actually exists. So that word of mouth really does help the growth of the club. So arm wrestling versus strongman. If you remember, we had a event where we went along to Jordan Biggie Steffen's gym, and we had some great training sessions with the strongmen that were there, and it went really well. It was kind of funny because Jordan actually had a broken arm at the time, and everyone seemed to think that he had broken his arm in an arm wrestle with us, which he didn't. He'd broken it before. So just wanted to highlight that. But it was fun to go into a gym where people are focusing on strength and strength sports, and then have them exposed to the arm wrestling world, where somebody who might be 60 kilos is literally just destroying somebody that's 120 kilos and can bench press 200 kilos. So that opened their eyes. It's always a fun moment when somebody sort of realizes, like, God, that there's a whole world of this thing where people have all these different techniques and they can use them to their advantage. So opens up people's eyes. So that was a nice thing to do. I think we'll try to do more of that in 2022, where we get strongmen or powerlifting gyms and become involved in sort of going to the clubs and bringing the tables there and just explaining a few techniques and sort of demonstrating the sport as we go. So we had the Slavic Pancake Festival. No pancakes to be seen for some reason. I think they came out, they waited till we left until they brought the pancakes out. Everyone was hungry. Next time we'll have to bring our own food. But again, Big event. There was a lot of people there. We had a good time. This is what's fun about the club, is that no matter where we go, regardless as to whether or not people decide to come up and have the arm wrestle, as long as we're there, we're going to have a good time. So there was a super match that day as well, and a whole bunch of people that were into, I think that the sport that they were doing there was Sambo, which is very similar to judo. So we got a few of those guys that came up and had a go. It went well. Good day. Again, another good exposure for the club. School demonstration. So Shelley and I went into my daughter Summer's school and put on a demonstration for her class, which was 2 joint classes together. Went for an hour. The kids loved it. We had a good time. I literally had no plan as to what I was going to talk about when I walked in, but the kids loved it. Just as a brief explanation of how arm wrestling works, and then I proceeded to arm wrestle every kid in the class and lose to every kid in the class, but they had a great time. So the feedback from the kids, some of the kids at the end of the lesson, best lesson they've ever had. Hopefully we can come back next week. Are you going to be here next week? And one of the funny moments for me, right at the end when I was packing everything up, the kids had gone to lunch, so they were out the front running around playing in the playground area. All the kids have hats. I think it's a no hat, no play policy. The hats are sort of like those bowler kind of hats where, because I'm tall and they were short, I couldn't see their faces. Anyway, I'm putting my stuff into the car, and this girl comes up, runs, gives me a hug and says, "Oh, thanks so much for coming along." And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Nice to meet you." And as she was walking off, I was like, "Oh, that's my daughter." It was my daughter Summer. So I couldn't see her face, so it wasn't until, and then I was like, and later when I got home and she got home from school, I was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't recognize that it was you." And she goes, "Yeah, I thought it was weird that you said nice to meet you." And I was like, "I didn't know it was you. Couldn't see your face." So I was literally in the room with me laughing at the moment. We had the open slather event, which was so the band Open Slather, which Paula is friends with the singer, I believe it's the singer, and so we took the tables there, and the guys put on a demonstration as part of a sort of supporting thing. Believe it went well. I wasn't personally at that one, but the feedback I got, people had a good time, and it was nice to sort of showcase the sport again, as it always is. I mean, it was in a pub environment, so so a lot of people sort of had that feeling that they would come up and give it a go. Maybe they wouldn't have normally. So always a good thing to get the tables out, and I think that the representation from the members of our club are always friendly, always welcoming, and allowing people to learn the techniques as opposed to just destroying people and beating people. So another event on the cards that went well. Next one we had was we were at the Waiala show, and again another big thank you to Richard and Tina for housing us, all the guys that came down, and Paula, and I keep saying the Jackal in my mind as I'm talking. I'm thinking, I can't think of his name, but it was Harley the Jackal. He came along as well, and a whole bunch of the guys came down, Dave Stockbridge and Stephen and Madison, and everyone else that came along to the Waiala show. We were there for 2 days. The second day we got blown away. The tent was literally lifting off the ground. People were flying past us. It was a washout second day, but it went well. And it was hopefully in an attempt to sort of kickstart the Waiala or the regional side of the Titans, and we did get a few people that are interested in it. A lot of strong young guys as well, so we'll see how that goes in the future. And the more of these type of events that we're putting on, the more that we get our name out there, the more that people will recognize and go, "Oh yeah, I remember going and seeing that," or "I saw that at the thing, I'd like to give it a go." So that exposure is always worth it. Again, thank you to Richard and Tina, who are running that regional side of the Titans club. So I think that they got their own shirts made up, and on the back I believe it says straight out of Waiala, which I thought was a very nice touch. So well done, guys. So we had Devin Larrett and Michael Todd had their big match. Everyone came over to my place. We had a great time watching that, and we did a lot of arm wrestling. It wasn't really like an event, but I just wanted to highlight it because I think it was a good time and I enjoyed that. It was nice to have that community feeling with the club, everyone getting together to watch something that we all enjoy. So that was something I wanted to highlight as well. We created the club officially, so had our first AGM. Everyone has been named in their positions, and we can now start looking at applying for government sponsorship and getting into big facilities. I know that we are currently working on something big, which I haven't solidified yet, but it is in the cards. I don't want to make any announcements in this video, but we have some good things happening. As I said, 2022 is going to be a big year for the Titans Club. And then it all sort of culminated with the Diamondback Fighting Championship. We had arm wrestling featured in an octagon, in the cage, at a fighting MMA mixed martial arts event. One of the most surreal moments of my life, walking into a cage with an arm wrestling table in front of 1,000 fight fans, and the guys that were featured in those matches, the Viking, Leroy, Berserker and Sledge, put on some of literally the best matches I've ever seen, regardless as to anywhere in the world. And, you know, to be able to be right there refereeing that in front of that big crowd with professional video cameras and very unprofessional commentary, which I had to remove, but it was an amazing moment, and hopefully that's where we'll be headed with the sort of partnership that we're trying to build with the Diamondback Fighting Championship. So looking forward to doing a similar thing with them for Apex. Again, that's going to be in March. And the last thing I've got written on here, which was my 40th birthday, just want to say thank you to everyone who came along. Again, it is such a wonderful thing to have so many awesome people that are into the same sport that I'm into. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for supporting the club and supporting me and everything that everyone has done throughout the year to make us a success. And it's all those little things that if you think no one notices, I always notice and appreciate the people that help set up, the people that help pack up, Madison bringing a gazebo, simple things like that, Paula helping out, even washing the straps so that everyone had clean straps, and I never thought of doing that. So there was all those little things that everyone sort of contributes, which makes everything so much better for the overall club and the overall experience. So big 2021, this Saturday we have our beach event. Hopefully everyone can come along, and we are looking forwards to a bigger and better 2022. And so again, thank you to everybody. This is Hollywood Matt Connolly from the SA Titans Arm Wrestling Club, and just to finish it off, we've got a double bicep. It's in the contract, has to be done. All right, thanks guys, I'll leave it there.